It's a perfect day for racing here in Kansas City, Kansas, with this state-of-the-art facility that has brought NASCAR into the heartland since 2001. The tri-oval track design is not unique to Kansas. The slight difference in banking makes this track truly different. So we welcome you to the Yellow Brick Road 210 here at Kansas Speedway, race number 6 of the Area Elite Entertainment Cup Series powered by Butt Kicker. I'm Hunter Sleppy, and joining me, as always, is executive producer Harold Darner. How's it going, Harold?
Doing pretty good. Racing came up to all the way to today in the real world, as we were talking about before. So, but hey, good to be here at Kansas, onto what should be a wide open racetrack, very similar to Auto Club. So we should get some good racing here, very wide.
Yeah, it should be some good racing. We're already seeing that tires are going to be a big concern, especially on the longer run. Now, just a reminder, this race is 140 laps. These guys only have 3 sets of tires, and from what I've heard down in the garage area is that tires blow out the longer you go into a run. So say 60 laps without pitting. If a race goes green flag that long, tires are most likely going to blow out, maybe earlier than that. But we should be seeing these guys pit around I'd say lap 50, maybe 45, just to be on the safe side of tires if it does go on a green flag run. But most likely we're looking at these guys going to try and stretch it to a 2-stop race. See if they can do that with their strategies, as we've got 38 drivers currently on the practice chart. But in case you missed last week's race at Dover, it was a wild one all the way up to the very end. Pace car is going to make a hard left turn onto pit road. It's Connor Okresic, David Weishart on the front row, leading this field to the green flag. And here we go, 160 laps from the Monster Mile. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Dover. Weishart running in third. Robertson, he's in the wall again, this time even harder.
Here we go.
Boy, it has narrowed down those straightaways. And the caution's already come out, and I think we can tell why. Oh, it's sideways. It's a 58 of Wilson. Going to go around. That's going to bring out the caution, the second one of the night. That was the 5 of Garrett Grant getting into the side of him there. But without,
a little bit of a love tap.
Seen a good bit of love taps made between the wall. Oh, we got a spin in the back. Car spinning in the back to the inside wall, coming out of turn 2.
Oh.
Don't see the caution just yet, but as soon as I say that, now you see the caution out. So the 4th caution comes out.
Caution back here at around 25th. Brad Slaughter. Whoa, here we go. We're wrecking the number 5.
Yep, that's Garrett Grant in the 5, and they're wrecking in front of him too. And they're wrecking even more.
Big one.
Yeah, it looks like that was Chris Seinfeld there. That might have gone clipped by the 5, or that could have been Ed Robertson, but they were wrecking just in front of him. But we'll take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at exactly what brought out this caution, because we just cut to the 5 side as the 30th Carpenter continues to lead.
Double zero. We're wrecking.
Looks like another crash is broken out at the Monster Mile, and the caution is back out once again. While Bow for 3rd trying to heat up. The battle for 5th still heating up. Now Jake Nichols finally gets in front of Nick Johnson. He loses a tire. He's into the wall. Currently holding his own in the 26th position.
Whoa.
A big wreck up here. It's Cameron Hearn in the 67. Caution's going to come out. Just about to say, Cameron Hearn was working his way through the field and almost inside the top 10. We got a spin in front of them. A massive wreck in turn number 4. Boy, they are still spinning and crashing all over the place. The caution's going to come out once again from the Monster Mile. All remaining on the lead lap. So 19 cars on the lead lap. Dominic D'Elia once again back a lap down, but he's in the lucky dog position. So if a yellow were to come out, he would obtain that free pass. And right on cue. Right on cue. So the caution comes out again. There's a spin down the backstretch, but more importantly, I am a wizard of my own powers. Dom DeLeo is going to be back on the lead lap. Got word to stop talking about Paul Irvin, commentator's curse. So, oh, we got a wreck in the back. It's Eli Green spinning around on the front stretch. Caution is going to come out once again. Yeah, that happened right as they were coming out of turn 4. They got up in the wall. Yep. Oh, that's Trito in the wall. Trito in the wall after they were side by side, and he is falling like a rock.
He disconnected.
Oh, he immediately disconnected. Scioli got loose there, and the caution's back out. Boy, you mentioned it. The later we go, the more intense the racing gets, and pace car works his way down pit road once again. We're going to go green flag racing from Dover, Delaware here with a handful of laps to go. Oh, that was close. I'm not sure if the 30 cleared the start-finish line before moving into the outside lane. That's going to be close there.
All right, guys. Corey Carpenter has been black flagged by Pierce Moffitt for legal lane change.
And as the field works their way through 3 and 4 for the final time, it's going to be the 91 of Jake Nichols that's going to come home with the win. He wins at Dover. And Corey Carpenter wrecks in frustration. Wow, what a
turn of events.
Yeah. Drama up to the very last moment of the race at Dover. And the real-life racing today was kind of chaotic as well. We had a good bit of drivers spinning, sliding, losing tires. And one of them almost hit the 17 of Chris Buescher, in which Harold and Ken and their group, they were at the track this weekend. And go figure, as soon as they go to the track, that 17 car, Chris Buescher, goes to the pole. Now, Harold, what is your thoughts behind that?
Oh, we got to meet Chris Buescher really briefly coming out of the garage, heading to practice. Got to stop him and just introduce myself as being with the Roush Performance Esports guys. He's like, yeah, I remember you, and running the trophy trucks. And before he left, I handed him one of the Sasquatch One-to-Go Studios coins. He took it with him, put it in the car, and put the sucker on pull. We asked him on Sunday when we saw him again, hey, where's the coin? He goes, it's in the car. It was pretty cool.
And the only driver in area to possess a coin is Ed Robertson. Ed Robertson's won a race not too long ago at Auto Club. So there's some good luck going all over the place, not only in the NASCAR garage, but in the area garage as well. So, Harold, I think you're going to have to go with Chris to every race now. Make sure that coin is in the car.
I've already told the RFK guys, hey, if you need me to hang out, just you can take me out of Philadelphia, Baltimore. If you want to take me out of Newcastle in a private jet, I'm available.
That is so neat. And I must add, on the broadcast of the Cup race today, because I heard it too, there was some clinging noise in the booth, and apparently it happened Sunday too. I'm like, man, what is that clinging noise? Well, Clint Boyer got a hold of one of the One-to-Go Studio Sasquatch Award coins.
It was, I believe, around the stage break for today, stage 1. And then you said you heard it later, and I didn't hear the last one, but I heard the first one. And if you're a driver and you do end up getting one of these awards, they're a little bit heavier than a true we call Susan B. Anthony silver dollar. They're actually pretty big, and it makes that kind of a sound. And I was like, I haven't joked Ken today because Ken actually went to the track today. I actually went to work, and I told him, I said, it sounded to me like Clint Boyer might have dropped his coin. So
or he was messing with the coin, because it adds up, because I heard like clanging noise. I'm like, what is going on in that booth? And go figure, Clint Boyer's got the Sasquatch coin. And I told Harold just before we went live, next race you go to, you should probably find Cody Ware and give him one, because he earned that today with the incident that he had at Dover, the Sasquatch Award.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of air ability to walk around during the Xfinity series, because there's a couple guys we were looking at giving them to for the Xfinity series for some of the stuff they ran into. And of course, once the race went hot, they didn't want us over the pit wall on Sunday. So, but we were able to walk up and down pit lane. And as I was telling you before that we got online here, if any of you guys remember watching the national anthem where you have all the drivers facing the American flag, we were in pit box 1 between the 17 team and the 11 team, the three of us standing together. So.
Very cool moment over the weekend for Harold, Ken, One to Go Studios, everyone a part of that there. So the only drivers that have a Sasquatch coin confirmed, Chris Buescher, Clint Boyer, and Ed Robertson. And as we mentioned, Ed won not too long ago at Auto Club. He also won this race last year at Kansas in order to make the Final Four in the championship round at Phoenix. And he's looking to go 2 for 2 here in the Cup Series at Kansas. And this is last season's champion, David Weishart, going out for his first time. Now, we're looking at this to be a predominantly a top groove racetrack.
Yep.
Where the top groove is the preferred groove. Otherwise, if you're on that bottom, you're going to be in the sucker hole waiting to get in line.
You know, we were talking about pit stops and tires here. I know these drivers that, are happy that the crew doesn't make the mistakes that the real crew have been making here lately on this single hub tire. You know, the iRacing crews are perfect. They don't get it
Absolutely.
wrong. See tires trying to race you off pit lane.
Yeah, tires are looking to be a major concern tonight. More in this race than in any other race that we've had so far for season 2. As we're looking at the 33 completing his second lap. On the top left, you'll see the top 10 or so drivers on the qualifying board. And then just below the One to Go logo right there as it flickers, David Weishart to the top with a 31.024. That signals fastest time put down. And he dethroned Ed Robertson. And now Weishart's dethroned by James Scioli, the first driver into the 32nd lap time with a 30.987.
Now Matthew
Robinson back to the top.
Knocking people around, man.
And I should point out that the lap times are currently running. They are a half second off of the track record here for area. That was set by David Weishart with a 30.455 at 177.369 miles an hour. So these guys are about half second off of last year's times. So here's Jake Perkins. He is about half a second off of the pole sitting time.
You know, it's certain about like qualifying here in iRacing's over that 2 laps over a 5-minute period, so the drivers really don't have a lot of time to wait. I know Chris and I were talking a little bit on Sunday about qualifying. He says basically I had to sit in the media, the media center for about an hour waiting for everybody to finish qualifying because he was on the pole. So,
yeah, that's what happens when you win pole.
Well, as long as you're on top, they kind of want you near them, I guess, so they won't let you go. And so he spent most of his afternoon sitting in there on Saturday.
Well, if you're a part of the channel as a follower or a subscriber, you can answer in tonight's poll question, who will lead the most laps tonight? So you can type !bet, and then you have on Nichols, Slaughter, DeLeo, Green, Weishart, Ty, or the field. You can bet on those guys. You can bet on those drivers of which of those guys will lead the most laps tonight.
Actually, you can't bet on the field tonight.
Oh, no field.
No.
So you have to bet
on one of those drivers.
One of the drivers.
Yep.
Or tie. Like there could be 2 drivers that lead the most laps. So we're looking here. So it's Jake Nichols, Brad Slaughter, Dom DeLeo, Eli Green, David Weishart. So I am looking at, gonna go with, I don't know who I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Jake Nichols because that is the safe bet, and I will put 50 channel points on that. So !bet, the driver's name, and the amount of channel points you want to put on your choice. Oh, and Harold went with Weishart. He went with Weishart again. He's doubling down.
Did I go to Weishart last week? Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm 51, man. You can just ask me the question 5 minutes later, and I'll probably tell you a different answer.
Well, the last couple of weeks, we switched up the question because the last couple of weeks,
This is
no
team, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was team. I'm thinking of the Lodge Box series. The last couple of weeks for the Lodge Box series, no one has been getting the answer right. The race winner, no one picked the last couple of weeks for the Lodge Box series.
Yep.
So we're just switching some things up. One of those drivers not listed on the poll for tonight's race is Dwayne Culberson in the 81, looking to complete a lap. Looks like he put down a 39.248. Might have made contact with the wall. So he puts down now a 31.352. That's 24th quickest on the board, and that'll be his one and only lap.
So Swervin' Irvin.
Yep, Swervin' Irvin living up to that nickname. Paul Irvin coming off a podium finish last week at Dover. A really solid run for that number 48 car, and he's hoping to carry that speed into tonight's race at Kansas. Seen a lot of people.
Wall.
Oh,
That'll discount that one. Yeah.
So P26 for the 48 machine, but he came from the back to the front last week.
Mm-hmm.
He could do it again this week. And I'm just saying, I'm looking through our chat. There are a lot of this chat is so active with their points. There's
right. Using them points.
There's a bunch of different commands that you can use now to bring up points. You can bring up exclamation point leaderboard, and I'll show where everyone is at in channel points because there are prizes at stake, and you can look at those prizes if you type exclamation point store. And you can type in exclamation points and see how many points you have and where your rank is on the leaderboard.
So, yeah, Dan Miglin, another New Jersey native. I was talking to Ed about that him and Dom were like the ones from New Jersey, but we have a new one here with Dan Miglin.
P31 for that number 4.
He done blowed it up.
Here's a driver looking for a rebound. It's Cameron Hearn. He hasn't had any luck the last few weeks in the Lodge Box series. And then last week he was caught up in a wreck in the Elite Entertainment Cup Series event at Dover. And Cameron Hearn is always a driver to watch out for.
He shares the fate of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah. Denny Hamlin had that today. He had a fast car, but he just had bad luck getting caught up in a wreck with a lap car.
Yeah,
that probably deserves a Sasquatch award.
Yeah, it's definitely what we were talking about. I mean, we will try. We're going to try to get the crew together, and who knows, maybe Hunter, we can grab some more and we'll get to another race sometime this year. It was a lot of fun.
Look at that.
Good times. So good times.
Good times indeed for
P3.
Cameron Hearn as well. Yeah, P3, a 30.966. The third driver to go into the 32nd lap time. And we have about a minute and a half remaining in our qualifying session. And we're looking through here inside the top 10. Going to touch up on Nick Johnston. He was running for that top 5 spot last week with Jake Nichols before Nichols eventually ended up winning in a controversial fashion. But Nick Johnston seemed like he just cut a tire going into turn 3 at Dover and really ruined his run. He dropped 11 spots in the points. So we'll touch up on the points really quick as there's a handful of drivers who have yet to go out and don't believe they will go out. So we'll touch up on the points because we have not talked about that yet, but all the drivers locked in. There you see on the left side of the screen, Brad Slaughter, Jake Nichols, Eli Green, and Ed Robertson all locked in. Then you got to go to Dom DeLeo, the highest driver without a win. David Weishart, Ryan Swan, Garrett Heath, Tyler Nichols, James Scioli, Paul Irvin, 11th. And there's a 3-way tie for 12th between Randy Bechtel, Gary Lewis, and Forrest Smith. Randy Bechtel moved up 12 spots last week at Dover. Really solid run for Randy. Gary Lewis, Forrest Smith, teammates are tied for that 12th spot. And then you got to go to Brian Dixon, the first one out in points with -1. Then Michael Larch. Larch is up 11 points, or 11 spots in the points to P16. and so on and so forth. And real quick, we'll touch up on the team standings because there's a lot of battling going on, not only in the driver points, but in the team points. Solar Flare Racing up by 18 points over Transcendent Motorsports, and then 21 points to Jacob Bell Racing. David Weishart Racing down there as well, with Physicus, Infinite, Elwood Design, and Elite Entertainment there for the bottom four. Tight points battles all the way around, no matter where you look. And right now we'll look at our starting lineup here with Matthew Robinson on the pole, James Scully going to be on the front row, starting second, row 2. Cameron Hearn, David Weishart. Row 3, Ryan Hartz and Ed Robertson. Row 4, Connor Okrezik and Nick Johnston. And then row 5, it's Shane Williamson and James Shanewolf.
Like the 89 of Tyler Sifford and Jordan Martin in row number 6. Row 11 has, row 11, number 11 car starting out, Jordan Martin out in 6. Inside row 7 is Ballard. Outside him is Jake Nichols. Will Davis and Ballacino in row 8. Row 9 is Michael Larch and Mr. Swan. And Wasserman and Drew Trader will be in row 10.
Row 11, we got Dom DeLeo and Chris Scienfine. DeLeo nearly flipped over 3 times last week at Dover. Scienfine down 12 spots in points, so looking for a rebound both of those guys. Row 12, Garrett Heath and Randy Bechtel. Row 13, Forrest Smith and Dwayne Culberson. Row 14, Swervin' Irvin and Rafe Slate. And then row 15, going to be Tyler Nichols and Adam Capps.
Perkins and Miglin inside and outside of 16. Grant and Jake Bell in row 17. Mr. Eli Green and Gary Lewis in row 18. Just out the bottom, back here to the final full row is Dixon and Alverson. And then Mr. Patterson will be rolling out in the 20th row in the 39th position to complete the field.
So I just want to go back to that Gary Lewis's picture. So it's so good. It covers up his number. That's how good it is. Always a pleasure. Well, no, in the starting grid, it covered his number.
Yeah,
but there's his face again.
We got to work on the sizes of some of their guys' photos. That's for sure. But these guys are getting ready to go racing here.
Yep, and because the points question is who will lead the most laps, that means we haven't made our picks for who's going to win the race. So, Harold, who's your pick tonight?
You know what? I think Cameron is going to kick the Sasquatch out of the car and win tonight.
Oh, okay. I'm going to look through the field. I'm going to find someone that's going to come from the back to the front. I'm going to go with the hot hand and Randy Bechtel. That's my pick. Up 12 spots just in points from last week at Dover. And he's starting from 24th in the field, so I feel like he can come from the back to the front. And real quick, weather presented by LottieStrapperWorld.com. Partly cloudy skies, 71 degrees in the air, 109 degrees on the track, 33% humidity, and winds from the south at 6 miles an hour.
It's one of them cooking an egg type of track temperatures. It's bad.
Oh, always.
It's super hot. So here we go.
Yep, Matthew Robinson leads the field to the green flag, and we're underway from Kansas. Make sure you guys get your picks in before the time runs out on who will lead the most laps. You already see a lot of drivers moving up to that outside groove. It's like we're at Daytona and Talladega. Everyone moves into the train formation. Going to be a long one for these guys, so they're going to have to settle in fast as Robinson leads the first lap. Scioli peeking out a line there in the similar-looking cars between he and Cameron Hearn, running second and third on the track. I know they are not on the same team. You got a lone soldier there on the bottom trying to work his way into that groove. That is James Shanewolf in the 31.
I always find it dangerous in iRacing for you to drop underneath the apron on the D-shaped ovals. They tend to all like to do that, but the spotter that's built into the game kind of loses where you are on the racetrack, doesn't tell you if anybody's on your outside. So coming up, you can't see off that right side window unless you're in VR.
Here's Weishart on the bottom looking to get into third in front of Cameron Hearn. That's not going to work, so he'll slide in behind. So we got Ryan Hart, so that Robertson down there on the bottom, shuffling positions going on side by side, going into turn one. Jordan Martin with the fastest lap of the race, that number 11 car. Oh, we got a spin in the back. It was Shane Wolf. James Shane Wolf went around coming out of turn two, and the caution's out at Kansas. Well, we'll take a look at a one-to-go replay and look at exactly what brought out this caution. They were almost 3 wide right here, and there's a little bit of contact there. Nick Johnson, the 28 on the outside. Ryan Hart's on the bottom. There's Shane Wolf in the middle right there. He gets tapped from behind by Ed Robertson. And the 64 right there. So Shane Wolf looked like he was coming down. And that is James Shane Wolf right there. And then there is the 64 of Ed Robertson. So they're going to make contact right there. Robertson gets in the Shane Wolf coming out of turn two. And it looks to be just those two cars involved. But nonetheless, it triggered a caution. Try to get another look at that again. It's just slight contact right there when they're coming out turn two. This is from the in-car view of Ed Robertson. Just turned the 31 sideways, and Robertson was able to slow down and get back onto the racetrack without causing any havoc. So you see a freezing motion. And now you'll see him just move up while the 31 is moving down. And the contact right there. Pretty significant contact. Just gets the 31 sideways, and then he gets spun around the other way after making contact with the right front of the 64 of Ed Robertson. But that is our first caution of tonight's race. So we're looking through here. Had some drivers come down pit road. So we did say tires were going to be an issue. Although we're only 6 laps in, I don't think they'd be that much of an issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Looking through here on the bottom, and we got everyone from 30th on back pitted. So Ryan Swan, Brian Wasserman, Matt Alverson, James Shane Wolf, Brian Dixon, Garrett Grant, Eli Green, Jacob Bell, and Adam Capps all came down pit road. So 29th up through the field has stayed out. So there is the 53 of Shane Williamson on the bottom. And we did mention in the pre-race that these guys were going to try and make it a 2-stop race, or some might even try and do it a 1-stop race now with this early caution. There is a new paint scheme for the 34 of Matthew Robinson. He didn't even realize that was him last week at Dover because he's always got the same paint scheme, switched it up, and that switch up we saw on its side at Dover in the early stages of that race. But different start here at Kansas. He's on the pole. He's led every lap so far, and he will be the race leader when we go back green.
Yeah, we're talking about number placement. We've talked about that in the beginning of the season, Hunter. Being at the racetrack, I have to say it's kind of grown on me.
Yeah, I will admit it is growing on me too. The one paint scheme that I liked from Dover this past, well, not Sunday, from today, because they raced today.
Sunday, yeah.
Ross Chastain's number one.
The number one. That looked
yeah.
really. It looked even better from 2 feet away.
Yeah. The number placement Yeah, they replaced the number from where it would have been last year with Pitbull's face.
Pitbull's face. Yeah.
I was like, okay,
there
that's
were a
kind
lot
of
of
neat.
really cool paint schemes. We thought that. I mean, that was pretty cool. And like I told you, I think before that the Fords are kind of neat because the tail lights are actually molded plastic, where all the other manufacturers is just a big sticker.
And that is neat. That separates the Ford from the rest of the field.
Did you see them right
Speaking
there?
of Ford, we got the top 5 are full of Fords. Robinson, Scioli, Weishart, Hearn, and Johnston. They're all running Fords. Then you got to go to Ryan Hart's running P6 to find the first Chevy. And then running in P8, Shane Williamson with the first Toyota.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get ready to go back green flag racing. As you see, some of these guys actually elect to have plates. Busher car has the Ford, and it says Michigan on top, by the way. It's pretty interesting.
That's something I noticed. It's on Keselowski's too as we go back green at Kansas.
There's a shout out, I guess, to Roush, since they're all in Michigan, Livonia, actually.
And James Scioli looking to get that lead on the bottom as Robinson looked a little too close to that wall, but Scioli going to get settled in. No, he's going to send it on the bottom, trying to get that lead from the 34.
Caution out. Looks like
he might have been the leader at the
a lot of drivers involved in this one. This one's going to get ugly.
Yeah, so we're looking like we might have had a big one here in the early stages of Kansas. We'll take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out the caution.
Showing Sifford, Ballacino, Martin, Ballard, Robertson, Davis, Trader, Culberson, DeLeo, Heath, Smith, Bechtel. These are all the names that are showing up on incident counts for me. Slate, Nichols, Perkins, Irvin. All these people involved.
Right in front, Delonte Ballard getting turned by Jordan Martin, and with everyone running on the outside, oh my goodness, there's just nowhere for these guys to go, and the track is basically blocked. I mean, we saw this before we went live in the practice session, just a bunch of cars spinning in the middle of 3 and 4. But man, we gotta take a look at this again because there's just carnage behind everyone. It's just it's really an unfortunate set of circumstances because Kansas is a one groove track that we're seeing in the early stages, and to see this and not see the 21 spin down, but stay on the outside, and with everyone kind of set with where they're going to run in the turn, it's just a recipe for disaster. So we see a close view. That's the 11 of Jordan Martin on the bottom. Then on the top, Delonte Ballard in the 21. You'll see here, the 11's just trying to get in line and clips the 21 on accident, and then there's just nowhere to go behind these guys. Like Harold said, there's a number of drivers involved in this. Gotta say the car count for this one on this rank is at least 10 cars.
It was a lot of drivers. I don't think we've had one that in. I think it was probably the largest count even that we've had in area. So,
well, I don't think anything can beat Pocono in the trucks in the tunnel turn. Nothing will top that.
Okay, there are a lot.
Still trying to figure out where that Exalta machine is.
Yeah, it's
still floating.
It's in the moon.
It's somewhere over Pocono Raceway in outer space.
So it's becoming its own satellite.
It might have been at this point. But there you see on the left side just a number of drivers on pit road. Actually, Rafe Slate has disconnected for the night.
Yeah, these guys don't get fast repairs.
Nope. Zero fast repairs.
And little story here, you know, we talk about Clint Boyer during the NASCAR. You know, he was the in-car reporter, and I remember him asking a question in chat about how many fast repairs to get, and I believe that one that he asked was 3. And then later in the race, he's like, "Can I buy another one?" So, yeah.
Well, the second caution is out here at Kansas for race number 6 of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series season, which is brought to you by none other than Elite Entertainment. We would like to thank Elite Entertainment for their support the Elite Entertainment Cup Series this season in the area. Be sure to check out Elite Entertainment on Facebook and book them to DJ your next event. Well, gotta say, it's a okay race so far for Elite Entertainment. Shane Wolf was caught up in the first caution. Ed Robertson was also in that as well. He was also involved in the second one, but Cameron Hearn is running fourth place on the track right now.
Yep, and definitely. These 4-car teams, and I think only the top 2 get points, correct?
Yes, the top 2 drivers in the team standings get the points. So we had this happen a couple times this year, but if 2 drivers finish 1-2, that's the max points you can get.
Mm-hmm. But so you
also got to give a shout out. Sorry, just a shout out to Adam Capps as well, part of Elite Entertainment, running in 20th.
Oh yeah, the boss.
Didn't want to leave him out.
The boss.
Absolutely, he is the boss.
The lead boss.
Jordan Martin has disconnected for the night as well. Tough going there for Jacob Bell Racing. Tyler Sifford has disconnected as well. Well, there goes my pick. I'm sorry, Tyler. I put this one on myself. The commentator's curse is back. Oh, Bechtel.
Didn't you say
Sifford
Bechtel?
was my...
I thought you said Randy Bechtel. Yeah.
Sifford was my second guess.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. I know I'm old, but gee.
Sifford was my second one, so I take full responsibility for that one. Commentator's curse, even though I didn't pick him.
We have EOLs. As Ballacino and Paul Irvin. Those are the guys.
Intriguing.
Those guys were together. We saw that they basically came the 2 of them looking for the same real estate.
Yeah. And especially with the amount of cars that are involved in that caution, probably just a checkup effect for that. So, reason as to why they got sent to the back. But meanwhile, on this restart, James Scioli has taken the lead away from Matthew Robinson, and he's down to third because David Weishart's taken second from him.
Yep.
We see single file for the first 7 or so positions. Got to go back to 7th or 8th with, actually 8th, with Chris Seinfeld and Shane Williamson door-to-door for that position. Now they're single file.
Ooh, a nose chop there. Looked like that was Jake Bell. It was like, no, sir.
Looking up here, that's Michael Larch on the bottom, trying to get around Daniel Miglin in the 4 for the 11th spot. James Shamwolf already moving back up through the field after that first caution. Just a spot or 2 shy of that top 10, running inside 12th with Michael Larch in front of him. And Matthew Robinson's fallen all the way down to 10th. What is going on with that car? Man, oh man, he's falling like a rock. Something must be amiss with that. He was third a couple laps ago. And you know what? I did hear from David Weishart in the practice session before we went live that getting into the wall it's going to be like that glue effect. Once you're in the wall, you're stuck, and then you're turning as hard as you can to get out of it. And depending on where the other car is, you might collect another car or 2 and create a caution. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on.
The beloved wall glue is what the iRacers call it. Beloved the iRacing wall glue.
And we see Ryan Hartz and Conor Okresic going at it for 5th. Okresic's going to get back in line. Meanwhile, we got a 4-car breakaway in front of those guys. And a 5-car breakaway behind them with Ryan Hartz leading that. Oh boy, you got a gaggle of cars here. Matthew Robinson continuing to drop like a rock outside of the top 10. Now sitting 16th on the track. Oh, and into the wall there. I believe that was Jay Perkins. Oops. Oh, and contact there. It's like Eli Green. There's Jacob Bell right behind that, and Daniel Miglin in the 4. Boy, this is the Hornet's nest right here. Matt Alberson on the bottom there. Right behind these guys, you got Ed Robertson, then Will Davis. And that 48 of Paul Irvin right behind them. Paul Irvin put down the fastest lap of the race. He is a man on a mission, trying to get back to the front after having that EOL. Oh, they're close to making contact there as they're rolling through 1 and 2. And right here, back to the 5th position. Now Connor O'Kresick has the 45 of Seinfein right behind him. Seinfein also looking for a bounce back race as he's also down 11 spots in the points from the previous race at Dover. But running inside the top 10, having a strong showing so far. And another driver with a strong showing. We mentioned that James Shanewolf, he's cracked the top 10 after that early caution. Back like he never left. And there's Eli Green and Daniel Miglin still going at it for the position. Actually, that's Shea Perkins, excuse me. Miglin has fallen to the back. Here's Matt Alverson on the bottom of Eli Green. Boy, close racing right here. If you don't complete the pass, you want to get in line ASAP. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck on that bottom. You see Will Davis setting it in, going into turn 3. Going to try and slide up in front of Garrett Heath in the 23. Oh, and into the wall. Paul Irvin. We got a wreck in the... There they go. Ouch. That's Paul Irvin, Will Davis. Oh, and Brian Dixon. Oh, that is just unfortunate for Dixon. Oh, no. That is something you do not want to see. Wow. But we saw it, and if there was going to be a wreck back in the pack, it was going to be back there. So you see, this is the previous lap, but was Paul Irvin? Will Davis as well? And Garrett Heath. So it's right here. The car in front of them got into the wall and was starting to spin out. But we saw right here the 00 trying to pass Garrett Heath. Now the 48 got into the wall as well. And then got into the 00 of Will Davis. And he's spinning down and collecting the 03 of Brian Dixon. Nowhere to go. Tough break there for the 03. So we'll see it here as the leaders make their way down pit road from Paul Irvin. Just that slight contact bouncing off the wall into the 00. Then they kind of get stuck here for a brief moment. Then the 48 is on his way. So that was our one to go replay.
New leader.
Yep, Chris Seinfein has stayed out. A decent amount of cars came in that time. I think that's Alan Elwood there saying, I'd love for my team to catch one single break this season. Because one of his drivers, Will Davis, was involved in that wreck. So under caution here at Kansas once again. And depending on if these guys come down pit road or not, maybe the 45 was staying out. Oh, got another car down. Might have been Will Davis again. Yep, it was. Jacob Bell, Ryan Swan coming down pit road. Heavy damage to that 00, as you can see. Missing the rear of the car, the right side, so that's some damage.
looking at the car here, you see the little silver piece in the middle of the Goodyear. That is actually a lug nut that is metallic, the whole thing, the cap, which is what is magnet inside the gun that I saw, and what holds the lug in the gun while the tire comes off, and then they put the new tire on, and then they slide that back on and spin it. Denny Hamlin's crew, that cap came out of the gun, so he had to reach for it on the ground, put it back in the gun, and then put it on. That's why Denny's car was dropped off the jack first. That was earlier
Let's
today.
see. So they have not doubled up yet.
Nope, not ready yet. I was doing my Larry McReynolds, man. I need the cutaway card. I'll have to make one.
All right, so now they'll double up. With an interesting choice there for Chris. Going to restart on the bottom. We've seen, obviously, the outside lane be the lane you want to be in. And there's enough room to where he can go up and switch his mind, but I guess he's going to lay his bed down on the bottom. So looking through here, no one has disconnected yet. I believe Delonte Ballard might disconnect. He is 17 laps down. He's yet to come back onto the racetrack since that caution. Drew Trader sitting 7 laps down. 2 laps down, Will Davis. And everyone else on the lead lap. Surprisingly, Brian Dixon, although he's 30 seconds, still on the lead lap. I'm a bit surprised by that.
Now, one thing I was noticing, though, was the car count at Dover was only 36 for the actual NASCAR. So we actually have more drivers than the big boys do in this race.
Absolutely. As this race gets back going with Sci-Fi leading the way on the bottom. And then it's door-to-door for second between Forrest Smith on the bottom, Matt Alverson on the outside. Everybody wants to get up to that outside. But those drivers that are already there will not make it easy.
Cameron Hearn
we see
on
Forrest
fresh
Smith
tires.
and Cameron Hearn. Oh, Hearn is on fresh tires, okay.
Yeah, it's like these 3 front drivers all in different systems. Seinfeld 28, Forrest 18, Hammer 3.
Oh, and Weishart, there they go!
Ooh.
Nick Johnson and David Weishart into the outside wall in the front stretch. Caution's going to come back out once again at Kansas.
Wow.
Boy, they were looking 3 wide. Yeah, they were looking 3 wide coming out of turn 4, and it was just wrong place at the wrong time to make contact. So we'll look at it again from our 1-to-go replay. It's right here. So there's Johnston on the bottom, Weishart on the outside. They're going to go 3 wide here. The car in front of them, that's Eli Green. So Weishart's in the middle. And then they just get tight here on corner exit. Green comes down into the 33, which then collects Johnston in the 28. Unfortunately, those guys keep it on the upper groove of that tri-oval, so no one else got collected in it. But you'll see the 0-2, just a slight move down to the bottom as he's actually coming down pit road. So this is the view from behind. I believe this is James. No, this is Okresic. My apologies, Okresic. Hunter Okresic's view. And he nearly got caught up in that incident. Man, that is a rough one. It looked like it was going to be big.
It looked to me like, when I was telling you, organically, the iRacing spotters don't call out 3 wide very well. That they didn't know they were 3 wide. So there's other car on my outside. Okay, I got ready to move up, and there were 2 cars to the outside there. So not enough real estate. And David Weishart was the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, it was indeed the meat in the sandwich and some soggy bread on both ends. Although he scored ninth here. He was involved in that, but he scored ninth. Believe he will come down pit road. Would assume so. Yep, there he is. He's missing the whole front of his car, and he was still ninth.
Yep, that front clip.
Jacob Bell back down pit road. Eli Green was already down pit road, but assuming he will get the EOL for that caution. We have a little over 109 laps to go in tonight's race at Kansas. The Yellow Brick Road 210. We are in Kansas, so there might be a twister or two popping down sometime during the race. We see Simon Fine leading. Cameron Hearn and Forrest Smith made that move from the bottom to the top, but Hearn finds himself now second. Forrest Smith third, Matt Alverson fourth, and Connor O'Kresick avoiding that incident right in front of him. Going to be slotted in the fifth position.
Well, as you're talking about tires, it's like with all these cautions, when do you come down? And do you make sure you don't change your tires, just top off on fuel? Is once, unlike the real world, you can't, the tires can't be put back on the car.
So we're looking here. Rafe Slate, Jordan Martin, Tyler Sitford, and Delonte Ballard are still in, but they have yet to re-enter the racetrack. Will Davis, those five, seems like they are done for the night. Got to go to Drew Trader. They're still in the race, 6 laps down. David Weishart now 32nd. And they are doubled up already, so Simon Fine once again choosing the bottom. Although, don't know how well that's going to work for him. He hasn't pitted since we started this race, and Cameron Hearn, you mentioned it, Harold, he has fresh tires compared to Simon Fine. 25 lap difference on those.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 15 lap difference between he and Forrest Smith's tires. Forrest Smith, 22 laps on those, as well as Matt Alverson behind him. Then you got the rest of the field with the same amount of laps on their tires as Cameron Hearn, with Connor O'Kresick, Ryan Hartz, Jake Nichols, James Scioli, James Shanewolf, and Michael Larch rounding out the top 10. So we look to get back going here and just watch everyone try to work their way to the outside, because if you're not on the outside, you are going to the back. Good jump there for the 45. And we're 3 wide. Ryan Hartz made that move, that cut to the bottom to get underneath Forrest Smith. He's close to making contact with Matt Alverson, but the 3 of Ryan Hartz trying to get in line, and he will. An impressive move from the 3 of Ryan Hartz, moving up to 3rd. Then you got Forrest Smith and Connor O'Kresick there on the bottom, trying to get on the outside lane.
It's a good move while they're not at full speed. You know, that was that first lap out, so they were still trying to get the cars up to full speed. Is able to use the lower speeds to get around the bottom of the corner and slide a job up to the top. Now they're at full speed. They're not gonna be able to catch these 3 guys.
Yep, Alverson settling into that 4th spot. O'Kresick there still on the bottom as we have a battle for the lead now. Cameron Hearn on the bottom of the 45. He's going to lead that lap, and he'll clear Simon Fine before they go into turn 1.
Cameron Hearn using all the racetrack that he has to basically shortest distance between the 2 points in a straight line across through the D-shaped oval, sliding up into the 45, and now he's in the fresh air, which seems to be where all the drivers want to be, with nothing else pushing on your car.
Boy, it is a gaggle for that 4th spot. Now you got James Scioli and Matt Alverson door-to-door. They're door-to-door behind him as well. Jake Nichols, Connor O'Kresick, James Shanewolf, and then Jay Perkins up here. So you got 4th through 9th all in this gaggle right here. Then you got 10th place Michael Arch just watching from behind. Oh, it's going to be tight. That's going to be tight. Oh, with Jake Nichols and Matt Alverson.
It's almost Daytona tight, those 3 cars.
Oh, yeah. So now Scioli passing Sign and Find for 3rd. Ryan Hart's moved up to 2nd. Chris is going to fall back to 4th. And then still a battle for 5th between Okresic and Alverson. So Okresic on the bottom, Alverson on the outside. James Sheenwolf making it 3 wide with Jake Nichols in the 91. So get out of there okay. So Alverson is starting to drop back a little bit. Now Michael Arch has joined in on the mix. Oh, spin or smoke down the backstretch. It might have been a car with damage. We're looking through here.
Not seeing anybody out of pace here, so not sure where that was.
We are seeing Eli Green has disconnected for the night.
Yep.
Don't know if the two are related with the incident, if there was a car that spun. Nonetheless, there is no caution on the track as we see Jake Nichols underneath James Shanewell for the 6th position, and he might take 5th away from Seinfeld. Close there on exit of turn 4 as the tires you can clearly see are fading on that Seinfeld machine. Now remember in the pre-race we said that if you went 60 laps here on a green flag run, the tires had a greater possibility of blowing out. So Chris has to be careful with these tires and making sure that they don't pop out, because we saw that last week with Nick Johnston. He cut a tire after battling with Jake Nichols, and oddly enough, it was for that 5th position. Jake Nichols just got clear of Nick Johnston before he cut a tire and went up the track. So something to look out for the 45 to Seinfeld. Meanwhile, back up front, Cameron Hearn has pulled away. He's got a half-second lead over James Scioli. Connor Okresic and Ryan Hartz are battling for 3rd as we speak. He's going to complete the pass on Ryan Hartz, so move the 14 up to the podium spot and the 3 down to 4th. Jake Nichols rounding out the top 5. There it is, as once again, these 2 cars, Hearn and Scioli, they are not on the same team. They do have similar colors, but they are not teammates. Cameron Hearn, part of Elite Entertainment, and James Scioli.
The butt kicker.
Yeah. James Scioli, a part of David Weishart Racing. And then a strong showing for the number 14 of Connor Okresic. They're settled in throughout this top 9 or so. Then you got to go back to 10th place where the battles are really taking place with Shane Williamson, Matt Alverson. He's fallen back outside the top 10 now. And that 53 car now inside the top 10. Going a little further back here, there's Paul Irvin, Ryan Swan. And then you got the car right behind him, Brian Wasserman in the 50. We're looking through. I think David Weishart might have disconnected as well, along with Daniel Miglin. So we're seeing guys start to drop like flies here. We only got 30 cars left in the race. And 3 wide here, almost going into turn 1 and 2. They got Dom Berlio, Forrest Smith running close, and then right there on the bottom, that's Randy Bechtel. So those guys racing for 13th, 14th, and 15th on the track. And the Leo's going to get the better of those positions. He's going to move up to 13th. Bechtel still going at it with Forrest Smith for 14th. Back up front here, battle for 4th, closing in, possibly battle for 3rd. Jake Nichols has closed in on Ryan Hartz for that 4th position. And just in front of those 2 is the 14 of Okresic watching from his mirror. Now James Scarley has slowly reeled in our leader, Cameron Hearn. Down to about 2 car lengths or so between the two. So it feels like we're starting to settle into a green flag run here. Something we have not seen throughout the race. And now we see in the back Jake Nichols underneath Ryan Hartz for P4 side by side going into turn 1. The 91's going to have the spot. Will he be able to clear? He will. So Ryan Hart's down to 5th. Jake Nichols up to 4th. Now he's got his eyes set on the podium spot held by Connor O'Kresick. Boy, that 7 getting oh so close to the 67. Catching him is one thing, passing him completely different. Now we see Jake Nichols going for 3rd on the bottom of the front stretch here. Connor O'Kresick on the outside, and it looks like the 91 will complete the pass again before going into turn 1. So Jake Nichols moving up 1 by 1. P3.
Using that long run speed, taking care of his equipment, taking care of these guys 1 by 1. Seidenfaden still been out there, has not come down yet. Still in the top 10 though.
We have had some cautions though, so that will help a little bit with the tire preservation. But nonetheless, the fuel run here we're looking at, 58 to 62 laps, courtesy of the Jacob Bell. So he's going to be running close on fuel also. Which right behind him, Michael Larch sitting in P8. Jay Perkins, P9. And then there you see that gray number 53 of Shane Williamson slowly closing in on this group of cars. So we're looking here on these fastest laps now. They're running a second off. The leaders are. They're running 1 second off of their fastest time. So now we're seeing drivers run into the 32-second times. So we see the front two really close now. Cameron Hearn and James Scioli. It's that last time by 32.331 for Cameron Hearn and a 32.252 for James Scioli. And both of their lap times, their quickest time to the race were in the 31.0s. So that just shows you the amount of tire wear that's been gone from these cars. And we've only been green for about 20 laps or so.
And finally starting to get a good run in. I mean, we've had a lot of real quick cautions and now starting to get into a long run here.
Yep, as we continue to see the comers and the goers, and it looks like the one that's coming through is Jake Nichols, although he's 1.3 seconds behind the front two. He's moved up to third. Quite a few positions as they're battling for sixth. James Shane Wolf and Chris Seinfeld were going at it for a brief moment. 45 still has some speed left with those tires. Now we see Jay Perkins look low, trying to get something going. Oh, and right in front of him, Michael Larch into the wall. So it might have been the saving grace there for the 49 machine as Seinfeld and Shane Wolf continue their battle into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think they have 45. Starting to see tire fall off now. Whoa!
Wow, they made contact.
And he
Seinfeld nearly going in the grass. What a save there.
I say the tires fallout might have already happened. Now the guys are on 30 lap tires, side and five on 55, but the really good part of the tire has probably already been used up.
So we see this battle for the lead continuing to go on. Front five have not changed. We've had some swapping of positions here for the back part of this top 10. Michael Larchson made pretty good contact with that wall. Jay Perkins now trying to hold on to 8th from Shane Williamson as they're going at it. Williamson has it for the moment. Looks like he'll clear up in front of the 49. Boy, I didn't expect Sci-Fi to have that much grip in the tires where he can stay in a spot and battle with Shane Wolf, because the difference on those guys, 25 laps on their tires. And speaking of the devil, now the 45 comes down pit road, nearly goes in the grass. Again. Just trying to woe the car down and get down pit road.
Able to keep the car within the confines. No black flag for Seidenfaden.
No, he did have to back up a little bit to get that car stopped in the pits. So he went, looking at it, 55, 56 laps or so for the 45 of Seidenfaden. That's the furthest we've seen anyone go so far.
82 laps still left to go, though.
Yeah, a long way to go. And what we've seen throughout this season, anything can happen, so it's not over till it's over. The front two continue to work their way through the lapped cars in the field. I feel like at this rate, if the front two or three or so are this close to each other to where they're just running in a line, if that second place car could get close enough to the bumper, we could see potentially a Louisiana dive bomb for the victory, in which you can purchase your collection of the Louisiana dive bomb announcers collection from areiiracing.shop. You can select from drivers such as Cameron Hearn, Ryan Hartz, James Shanewolf, Eli Green, and as I mentioned, the commentators collection in the Louisiana dive bomb. Continuing to update the website, where you can buy as much items as you want of your favorite driver or announcer. You can purchase anything from a shirt, sweatshirt, crop sweatshirt, shorts, a tank top, even a pillow. So visit areiiracing.shop and pick up your merch today. We've completed 60 laps here of the scheduled 140 for the Yellow Brick Road 210 here at Kansas, race number 6 of Season 2 for the Elite Entertainment Cup Series, powered by Butt Kicker. Still no change in position inside that top 5, but the gap slowly starting to close back down. Was almost 2 seconds back, Jake Nichols was, from the race leader. Now we'll look a little further back in our field right here with the number 79, and that is a teammate of Jake Nichols. That's actually his brother, Tyler Nichols. So he is running back here, trying to find where he is. 19th on the leaderboard. Now we move a little further up front. James Shanewolf and Shane Williamson almost bump drafting there. Got a little group of cars here from 6th through 10th. All on that outside train. Oh, someone's smoking, trying to get on the pit road. Oh, might have been the spin. Smoke's on the front stretch. Or someone getting... I don't know. There's smoke.
Nick Johnston, maybe?
Might be. Nick Johnston, the 28. He's looking a little slow right now. He has been in a caution or two tonight. Nonetheless, we're still green on our longest run of the race. There's our leaders right behind him. Boy, this is looking a lot like last year with the Gen 6 car and the package that it runs. It ran the 550 horsepower package for the 1.5-mile tracks, and this one we've got 670 for the next gen cars, but racing a lot like what we saw last year. There's Ed Robertson just in front of those guys, and Brian Dixon.
You know, Hunter, if you can get to a race, and that's for our audience as well, you can go visit the General Tire display. They have 3 iRacing systems for hot laps set up.
Why did I not know of this when I went to Pocono a few years ago?
Well, it's just, I don't know if it was then, but this year, that's what they have, so.
You know what?
ARCA cars, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to have to book my tickets at Pocono. I was unable to do so for Dover, but Pocono, I will definitely have to make some arrangements there.
Ed Robertson posted a better time than me, just so you're aware.
The Muffin Man, no matter where he goes, always fast.
Like 2000s or something, but yeah, neither one of us have a lot of experience in the ARCA car at Dover. And of course, I'm not even sure what setup was in them, to be honest. It was stupid loose, I can tell you that.
Let's say the General Tire tent for area when I went back in 2019 got a free lanyard and a free hat.
Yep, they had the hat, and they had a replica of the 43 that Petty, one of the 43s that Petty drove.
Oh man, it
Really
should be a better experience when I go in the summer then. None of that was there. No iRacing, no replica car. Oh man.
It was nice seeing things back on the midway. Oh, and just a public service message from Wendigo Studios. If you're planning on renting a REI scanner at any of the races, you must pre-register before Thursday of the race or you're not going to get one. They do no longer do walk-ups as of 2019.
Intriguing.
That's what I got told when I went to go get one. I'm like, what do you mean you don't rent them?
Plan ahead. That is the message.
Plan ahead. Don't be like Harold.
It's like we planned ahead with our halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor Swift Lifestyles for clean supplements that can help improve your focus and gaming. Use a discount code on your screen. Excuse me. That's not the discount code. It's on your screen. Area iRacing, AREA iRacing for 15% off your entire purchase. We would like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles once again for their support of Area iRacing. Which let's get up to the battle for the lead that has been going on for quite some time now, being led by Cameron Hearn. He's led 38 laps here. He's had a pretty fast car. He finds himself leading. Oh, got a little loose there, a little bobble there.
Yeah.
We'll see if the 7 of James Scarley will power it down. Nope, he'll stay in line in that butt kicker number 7. He's led 15 laps. He's currently playing second fiddle right now, just waiting to make a move. It's this pack right here, Tyler Nichols. Sorry, this is his brother, Jake Nichols. Jake has actually closed the gap down quite a bit between Hearn and Scioli. It was as far back as 2 seconds. Now it's less than a second from Nichols and Hearn. Then you got to go to Ryan Hart sitting in 4th, holding his own in that number 3 car. Passing the 03. Then you got to go to the 14 of Connor O'Kresick. Now he's been near the action, was almost caught up in a wreck. He's got some damage there on the right front. He's actually going to come down pit road and make his green flag pit stop now. So now that will hand 5th place over to Shane Williamson in the gray 53. He's been near some contact and incidents as well. So Kresick down pit road. Michael Arch moves into P6 on the track in that number 2. Neat little paint scheme there. Really haven't heard too much from him, and that's probably a good thing. Means he hasn't been involved in any carnage. We have seen Matt Alberson near some carnage. Near some close calls as well. Finds himself running in 7th, having a solid run in that number 8. And then in P8, the 31 of James Shanewolf. He was our first caution. He spun running around where he was with Ed Robertson, made contact, spun off turn 2. Now he's worked his way back inside the top 10 with the damage to the front of the 31. Then we go to Dom DeLeo, who's also got some damage to the front of his car, but hasn't been on his side. I don't think he's been on his side yet. He was on his side 3 times last week at Dover, but Kansas is a pretty good track. He won here last year for the ARCA series that we had, and he's running P9. And our pole sitter, Matthew Robinson, he's rebounded to a 10th place run. We saw him fall back from 3rd to 16th or so, but finds himself inside the top 10. Looking to improve on his second half of the race. We went through our top 10 rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Had some cars come down pit road. Obviously, Connor O'Kresick was one of them, as the leaders once again working their way through lap traffic, and now we see the 91 of Jake Nichols in on this battle. He has closed the gap all the way up to our second place driver, James Scioli. Boy, that 91 is on rails, it seems like. Just slowly been working that gap down, and now he's looking underneath the 7 of James Scioli here as they go down the front stretch. Have a spin in the grass, it looks like. There's some smoke down there that might be why it looks like. Is that... What car is that that's down there? Behind, is that Johnston? Or Perkins? That looks to be Jay Perkins, I believe. Yep, Jay Perkins might have had a little spin there in the grass, trying to get her woe down on the pit road. The number 49 machine. While that was going on, the 91 of Jake Nichols moved into second. Now he's looking for the lead from Cameron Hearn. No, he'll sell back in, going into 1. Oh, actually, Connor O'Kresick has disconnected.
So is Alan Ballacino as well.
Yep. They have disconnected. Huh. Now we see some cars coming from pit lane back to the racetrack, bringing back some pretty haunting memories for the 67 of Cameron Hearn. Fortunately, he's able to work his way around that lap car coming off pit road, but he's having to shut the door on the 91 of Jake Nichols. So Jay Perkins did come down pit road to service the car. He's 2 laps down after that. But the 91 looking to get below the 67, and he's going to do it right here. They're going to be side by side for the lead going into turn 1. Hearn on the outside, Nichols on the bottom. Looking to get a good run to carry off the corner. Not going to be enough for the 91. It will be enough for the 67. Actually reversed that. Cameron Hearn got loose there coming out of turn 2 and lost it. So the 91 of Jake Nichols moves into the lead. Cameron Hearn now fighting for second from James Scioli. So the first lap's led tonight from the 91 of Jake Nichols, with less than 60 laps to go here from Kansas. Settled into a nice green flag run after a few early yellows.
58
Now
laps are currently on the stint for these guys, so green flag pit stops got to start coming at this time.
Yeah, we are looking through, and these guys are approaching 60 laps on their tires. And 60 laps is around the mark where, okay, my tires might go, I might have to come down pit road. These guys are one lap away from that.
Well, they would be able to definitely, but they've shown here is come down and it'd be the last service to the end.
So we see the top three all running on their own. Got to go back to Ryan Hart's almost 5 seconds back from our race leader, Jake Nichols, in that 4th spot. He's got no one around him. Shane Williamson has moved into the 5th spot. Michael Arch, James Shane Wolf, Dom DeLeo, Matthew Robinson, and Randy Bechtel rounding out the top 10. Now we see some drivers working their way on the pit road. Teammates, Dwayne Culberson, Tyler Nichols. Now, not teammates, James Scarley and Cameron Hearn. Then it looks like, nope, Williamson stayed out. So pit stops are coming for our leaders. We saw the front two come down. Dom DeLeo down pit road now as well. Could see the 91 that Jake Nichols bringing in this time, and it looks like he will. Slowing down, getting onto the pit lane, making sure he does not speed. So he'll come down pit road. The 3 of Ryan Hart's looks to be down pit road as well. So Shane Williamson will stay out. He will lead a lap. It's like the 2 of Michael Larch going to work his way through and into the 2nd spot, stay out. Shane Wolf will also stay out. They're catching up on Chris Seinfeld in the 45. Looking through here, he will most definitely have to come down and pit before the race is over. That 45 car will. So we're seeing a number of drivers going over 60 laps. That's our top 5. Working on 63 laps now on their set of tires. Shane Wolf and Bechtel now down pit road along with Garrett Grant in the 5. So the 53 and the 2 continuing to stay out. We'll see. Looks like Williamson is coming down this time. Bit of a different pit entrance for that 53. The 2 of Larch looks to me like he'll stay out and lead that lap. Another car behind our race leader, Shane Williamson, coming down and pitting. So when this is all said and done, it looks like the 45 of Seinfeld will cycle as our leader. So there is the 2 of Larch, still on the track. And he is coming down this time to pit. As is Ed Robertson just in front of him. So Seinfeld with about a 1 second advantage over Jake Nichols in the 91. So the 2 comes down to service that car. Oh, and a tight battle right behind Seinfeld. It's between Nichols, Scioli, and Cameron Hearn. So the 7 got out in front of the 67 of Cameron Hearn as now they approach our leader with much fresher tires. They're going to be 3 wide coming out turn 2 for the lead. It's going to be side by side between the 7 and the 91. Cameron Hearn are going to go on the outside, give a little momentum push to Jake Nichols in the 91. So they're working their way off turn 4. The run's going to go to the 91 of Jake Nichols. He will have the lead. Cameron Hearn looking for second from James Scioli. They're going to be side by side down the front stretch, heading into turn 1. and the 7 will settle in line behind the 67. So we're picking up right where we left off with Nichols as the leader, Hearn second, and Scioli third. Although a tighter battle for the moment as Cameron Hearn not wanting to let that 91 go just yet. We have a lap car there on the bottom. I think that's Delonte Ballard. I think he might have actually come back onto the racetrack.
Yep, Delonte did come back out, showing 19 laps down.
Well, every spot is a point, and every point matters. So props to Delonte for fixing the damage and bringing that 21 car back out. He's up to 29th after that early caution because, remember, he and Jordan Martin were in that second caution that wiped out a number of drivers, and they pitted on the same lap. So he would have been down in 36th with Jordan Martin sitting in 37th, but he's moved up quite a few spots. He's sitting inside the top 30, running 29th, and looks like he'll pick up another spot here, passing Connor Okresik in just a moment. So once again, these top three, the class of the field, Jake Nichols, Cameron Hearn, James Scioli, they're all within less than half a second of each other. Looking through 18 drivers on the lead lap, the last of which Dwayne Culberson. So if a caution were to come out now, Garrett Grant would be the free pass recipient. Boy, the lap car going to stay on the outside. Going to be tough to see where the 91 goes, and it looks like he'll go to the bottom. That is Jay Perkins in the 49. Had that moment trying to get on the pit road and hasn't recovered since then. And now they're working up on the other few group of cars. That is Paul Irvin, in the 48. Make quick work of him as he moves to the bottom, letting the leaders go on the outside. Then you got teammates in front of Jake Nichols. That is the 79 of Tyler Sifford. Tyler Nichols. There's two Tylers on that team. So there's Dwayne Culberson in the 81 right there. And then in front of him, you got the brother of Jake Nichols, Tyler Nichols, in the 79 car. He bobs and weaves through them. So a couple of barricades there to help the 91s. We got more smoke on the racetrack. We're seeing smoke all over, but no caution.
Barbecue, man.
Hey, well, to be fair, we have seen. Well, yeah, you do have to eat, but in the past at Kansas, we have seen a good bit of smoke over in turn 1 back in 2013 when there was a little brush fire there in the bushes, and it actually caused a caution in the race because the visibility was getting worse through 1 and 2. So nothing new here. Maybe it's a twister that's a brewing. We haven't seen one yet.
Another public service announcement: if you're going to do the pits, if you have a pit pass and you're going to stay in the pits to watch the race, there's not a lot of concessions. There's only one place to get something to eat. So bring stuff.
It's not a Martinsville hot dog.
No, it wasn't. It was some cheeseburgers and pulled pork sandwiches.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? You got me a pulled pork. I'm in.
Good. It was good. It was good.
Oh, I believe it.
Pulled pork was
always good.
Man, we're about to get the lap 100. So we had a pretty slow start to this thing, and now we're starting to tick laps away.
Absolutely, we are. Boy, now I'm in the mood for pulled pork. And Matthew Robinson's in the mood for pulled pork as well, trying to find out where it is. It's now on the front stretch. We'll have to see. Did he re-enter the racetrack? Yep, there he is. He's still on the look for that pulled pork.
Like, where?
So he re-enters the racetrack safely. No caution out, but another rough go for Matthew Robinson, our pole sitter.
And that's for position there with Garrett Grant on his outside. Also a different paint scheme for the number 5. Reached that blue 5. The Larson 5, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Indeed it was.
And Larson is very height adverse.
Height adverse. Or are you saying he's short?
Very.
Well, whatever it is, he's fast.
Maybe that's why he's fast. You remember Smoke had a problem with Danica getting into the racing when she first started, if you remember, saying that it wasn't fair because she was lighter than all the other drivers.
But wouldn't that make the car faster?
It should
If
make
you're
the car
lighter.
faster, yes. Remember, they do not weigh the cars with the drivers in NASCAR.
They weigh without.
Yes. Well, because the crew pushes them out there and the drivers are too important to be there. That's kind of how that works. But, yeah, some local track racing, you'll see that they'll have the scales just outside of one of the turns. And at the end of the race, you got to scale it to solidify your position.
So you may want to hold off on the pulled pork until the end of the race.
Yeah.
Because a pulled pork sandwich could be the difference in you getting DQ'd or holding on to that victory.
Oh, no, if you could be overweight, that's okay. It's underweight to get you in trouble.
Oh. Well, in that case, eat as much pulled pork as you want.
Exactly.
We are within 40 laps to go of our race here at Kansas, which is brought to you by CNC Logging. We would like to thank CNC Logging for their support of the CNC Logging Truck Series this season in area. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, CNC Logging is your place to go for any of your logging needs. Got wood, big or small, summer or fall, we'll cut your log, guaranteed. That's the CNC Logging truth.
CNC Logging also is the sponsor of the only series with a Sasquatch Award in area.
Yep. And that's once again, the CNC Logging Truck Series, which will be taking this track within the next 24 hours.
That's right. Me and tomorrow with Ken and myself on the call. And I told Ken this weekend that the All-Star race will be the ARCA cars on a Tuesday night. So a lot of the drivers that don't have the opportunity to get a Sasquatch Award will actually have the opportunity that day.
Yep, absolutely. Cannot wait for the All-Star race. It's a couple of weeks from now as we see, the 67 of Cameron Hearn trying to go below the 91 of Jake Nichols there, trying to use that lap car to his advantage. Boy, these top three have been stuck to each other. No matter what.
Well, it was like Cameron, you don't want to make the pass too soon because he'll just come right back behind you. I still think it's hilarious to watch Jake Nichols with the yellow rookie stripes to the back of the car.
He's a rookie in area. That's why he has the rookie stripes.
Guy's got a 7,000 I rating. It's like, oh yeah, we have this guy Clint Boyer wants to race with us. Make sure he puts those rookie stripes on the car.
Well, if Kyle Larson wants to race, he'd have to have those rookie stripes on. Make it even more impressive. Like, wow, that's a rookie. So they're working their way through lap traffic here. Adam Capps in the 55. Oh, this might be the opportunity that Cameron Hearn needs. Oh, very close to that lap car there. Lap cars are on the apron to get out of the way of the leaders, and the leaders are like, "Yeah."
That's the
Take it
preferred
down
line,
here.
Galloway.
And that is Ed Robertson, the red car up ahead. Going to keep it low. Might want to keep it a little low. Although that is his teammate, Cameron Hearn.
All right, so update that I would like to see iRacing. So iRacing, if you guys are listening, I want to be able to send my spotter to the other team's spotter to tell him something. Like, Tell your driver to get out of the way.
Because they do that in real life.
Yes, they do.
Spotters will go to other drivers or other spotters and say, hey, your driver is slow. Tell him he's slow and move out of the way. Okay, I'll tell my spotter that. Or my driver. Tell someone.
or they'll work with each other, like Daytona, Talladega. You'll see spotters move around on the spotter stand to get next to other spotters, to which the drivers work well with one another.
Very quickly, I will say, bring back the communication radio between the drivers. Let the drivers talk to each other during the race. I missed that. That was cool, because we had that during the tandem days, but the tandem days are no more.
If I'm not mistaken, though, I believe the teams can talk amongst each other. There's a channel that the spotter can do to move people around, but I don't think, like you said, that they can do that overall. Of course, everybody has the ability to hear race control in NASCAR over their radios. Multi-band radios, they can do a lot with them.
So we're within 30 to go. 9 cars on the lead lap.
It's almost like a Dover race.
Yeah. Kind of like what we saw today.
Oh, like what, 14 cars finished on the lead lap, something like that?
No, there was more in the Dover race, but they just had lengthy green flag runs at the very end.
I can't remember how many. It wasn't very many. It was under 20. Because Kozlowski, I think he was like 18th or something like that, and he was a lap down.
Might have been 17 or 16 on the lead lap. So less in tonight's race. For the moment. Could change.
Yep.
And once again, these top three they're like glue. They're stuck to each other. They can't get away from each other. They're within half a second of each other. And Ryan Hartz is over there having a solid run in fourth, but he is 8 seconds behind this group. Oh, whoa. That's using the lap car to your advantage there for race leader Jake Nichols.
Set a pick. I think he's playing basketball or something. Here, you can't follow me through him.
So we're looking at 25 to go. Gotta wonder how many laps that 91 car is like, 'cause it's been a while that he's been out there in the lead. So 29, 30 there. Cameron Hearn, I believe, has led the most laps so far at 48. James Scully with 15. Williamson has led a couple during the green flag pit stop cycle.
The other
That is your
driver,
top 5.
True Trader, now disconnecting.
That's Dom DeLeo in the grass. So something seemed to be amiss there with the 22 as he went through the front stretch grass for just a moment. Was just about to say we're closing in on the final 3 cars. Matt Alverson, Michael Larch, James Shinwolf actually battling for position right now, but when these leaders catch him, oh boy, that'll be something. They are about 6 seconds or so from catching those 3 guys, all of which are battling for P6, just like all these 3 are battling for the lead. So once again, nothing new with this top three. It's like they've stayed the same for 20 laps. Literally. Maybe a little longer than that.
It's like the laps are on loop.
Yes. It's like we're on just a continuous loop. Gonna move back here, and that's the 5 of Garrett Grant getting into the wall. That's the 81 of Dwayne Culberson. He's got a close battle here for 10th, although these guys are a lap down. Quite the battle. Spot being held by Tyler Nichols in the 79. That's actually holding on to that spot. Then here we got Jacob Bell, Ed Robertson, Ryan Swan, and that's Adam Capps there on the far right, just outside of the frame. They are running back in 16th, 17th, and 18th, so this is 4 position. Jake in the better end of the stick. Meanwhile, Ryan trying to get the shorter end from Ed. Just waiting for someone to make a mistake over here, just to accidentally run it a little too high and then get caught up in that wall. There's that's the group of cars you see just in front of the leaders. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th on the track. So that's separation between those 3 and then the 3 leaders. So oddly enough, Cameron Hearn was not an option in our contest question. Who will lead the most laps tonight?
But I did pick him.
Oh, you picked Nichols.
No, to win.
To win. No, the question was who will lead the most laps.
And and I didn't pick Nichols. I thought, did I pick Nichols? I don't know. I have to go back and look.
I'll look for you.
I said Weishart.
You put the field. You put Weishart twice.
I messed up the first time. It didn't accept it because I did it backwards. You got to do it right. It gets mad if you don't do it right. So I did Weishart, which ain't gonna happen, and I think you did. I
did Nichols. I had the safe bet.
The safe bet.
The safe bet.
Uh-huh.
So we'll have to touch up on that topic in just a moment because these top 3 have caught the back 3 in our lead lap group. They're going to try and work their way around the outside. So that's Shane Wolf there in 8th going a lap down on the bottom. Meanwhile, the 2 cars in front of him. Oh, a little loose there was a 91 of Nichols. Did you see that? Just that little twitch.
The air changed.
Yep.
And
right in front of him, car in the wall. That's Alverson, just scraping the wall just a bit, but it's happening right in front of our leader. See, he's working his way around on the bottom, so that's going to put Matt Alverson 1 lap down. Then the next car is the 2 of Michael Larch.
I think Ross Chastain was talking about when a car gets inside of you. He said it felt like a wake, like from an aircraft or something, pushing you away from the other car.
Yeah, it gets it loose. So the 2 on the bottom.
Hard to describe, but it was trying to push him into the wall. Whoa, big crossover.
Yeah, big cross there.
Got to show him like he wasn't too appreciative of that lap car.
Well, now we've got 5 cars on the lead lap. So now we're going to have a battle for the lead. Kinda. This has separated up the pack quite a bit. James Scarlett is still trying to get around Michael Larch as we speak. Cameron Hearn has gotten around both. Or all 3, I should say. And now Scarlett looking to get around the 3rd and Michael Larch. So those 3 back there now. Larch, Shane Wolf, Alverson, all going to be fighting for that lucky dog spot if a late caution were to come out. We're nearing 10 laps to go.
The laps continue to tick away, 12 to go. Garrett Grant on pit lane.
Cameron Hearn reeling that 91 car back in. Skyoli trying to reel both of them back in. And Ryan Hart's 10 seconds behind these front three.
All right. Once they cross here, we'll be at 10 laps. So we're going to the backstretch. You're coming around these guys. There's the blue cone that shows that they can get back out on the racetrack.
They're working their way past Delonte Ballard, who has repaired that damage from early on and has been able to move up quite a bit of positions. If he just disconnected there after that wreck with Jordan Martin, he would have been 36th. But he's up to 28th, and every spot is a point. So, gotta do what you gotta do to get those points.
Well, right now it's like Ballard and Miglin are fighting for the 28th position, a lap separating them. So Delonte Ballard kind of continuing to tick laps in just to keep his position. Don't think he's got enough laps to get to Adam Capps, because it's Adam's out there putting laps down, and there's looks like a 13 lap difference.
They're starting to see a bigger difference now in the gap between Jake Nichols and Cameron Hearn. It's grown to almost half a second. Or could that have been Cameron Hearn falling back to Skyoli saying, hey, come get this draft, come push me so we can get back up to the front. But I don't know if they're going to be able to reel him back in with 8 laps to go. And speaking of points, let's go ahead and check, see who has led the most laps, because it's going to be either Cameron Hearn or Jake Nichols. But Jake Nichols was an option. He's at 46. I believe Cameron Hearn was at 47 now. Cameron Hearn, I believe, was at 48. So these next handful of laps or so, if you guys put Jake Nichols, you're looking to get some channel points. Now, there were quite a couple of people that put Jake Nichols in for most laps led. That was the channel question. I went with him as a safe bet. So I'm hoping to get back into the podium spot for for the channel points. But who knows? This 67 car, Cameron Hearn, slowly trying to reel him back in. It might be too little too late. We're really seeing it down the straightaway where it's starting to hurt these guys behind, Hearn and Skyoli. It's right here, just the exit of the turn. It's just so much better for Jake Nichols. We'll ride on board with the 67 here. See how much the gap closes down, 4 car lengths, and then it slowly ticks back up to 5 car lengths, near 6. There's really nothing that he can do. He can try and reel him in with Skyoli, but Skyoli is getting a little further and further behind Cameron Hearn.
And continue to tick away. 5 to go.
5 laps left from Kansas and the Yellow Brick Road 210. Looks like Jake Nichols is going to lead the most laps, but will he lead the last one? He's looking to get his 3rd win on the season here in the Elite Entertainment Cup Series. He won last week at Dover in controversial fashion for his 2nd win of the season. Looking to make it 2 in a row. Back to back.
Seeing some
He's
contact.
got 4 laps left.
See some contact in the back. Nicholas Johnson, Jacob Bell, and Danny Miglin.
Oh, and that battle for 4th heating up. Ryan Hartz has held it for quite some time, but the 53 of Shane Williamson has closed in. They're actually side by side as we speak, and Williamson looking to get the edge from Ryan Hartz as they work their way through 3 and 4. 3 laps to go now for our leader, Jake Nichols. Boy, that battle is tight between Williamson and Hartz. Boy, that'd be a shame if Hartz were to let go of that spot. It seems like he's been there for over half of the race. That 3 on the bottom, the 53 on the bottom, excuse me, 3 on the top. So we got 2 laps to go now, and it looks like it's going to be a battle for second between Cameron Hearn and James Scioli as they work their way around lap traffic in front of them. Well, we were looking at this, Harold. We thought this was going to be the battle for the win.
Yeah.
And then Jake Nichols just picked it up. But now it's the battle for second. They're going to lay it out on the line to get that second spot. And they come off turn 4. White flag in the air. One final time around Kansas, presented by One to Go Studios.
Got that final lap.
Contact!
Yeah. Nichols out by himself. So this is going to be an official race. He's got a backstretch. 2 corners to go.
Jake Nichols has really picked up the pace since the halfway portion of this race. He's now led the most laps, and he's going to lead the last one. Coming off turn 4, going to pick up his 3rd win on the season. Jake Nichols takes home the checkered flag at Kansas. Cameron Hearn takes second away from James Scioli. Actually, yep, he did. A little glitch there on our ticker, but that battle has ceased. Hearn P2, Scioli P3, and looks like Shane Williamson's going to take home 4th away from Ryan Hartz, who will bring that number 3 in the 5th position as the rest of the field comes down and picks up the checkered flag. Looking, I don't think the 91 is going to do any burnouts. It says he's on pit road right now. So a quick little park there from our race winner, back to back, after winning last week at Dover. And his 3rd win on the season in 6 races. We will catch up with our podium finishing drivers in just a moment, but Jake Nichols led the most laps and led the final lap, signaling that he is the winner. 4 cautions for 16 laps early on, but after that, green flag run to the very end. And then Paul Irvin, Swervin Irvin, with the fastest lap time of 30.938 for that number 48. Always good there. We'll see if we can get our race-winning driver here, but in the meantime, I think we got him. All right, let's go ahead and bring him up. This is Hunter and Harold. Jake Nichols up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Man, we thought before the halfway portion of the event, it seemed like it was going to be either Cameron or James, and then you slowly crept in and just snatched it away from them. And we saw that you guys had a good bit of battling there, even after the final set of pit stops. Take us through what that battle was like.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I just try to keep my right front on the car. I didn't really care about hot lap speed, and it showed I didn't qualify very good, but I just tried to stay clean early when some wrecks were happening, and after that, I was just trying to keep the right front on, maybe get the right rear work in. Like there's a specific line you can run in 1 and 2 that if you can hit it right, you can get that right rear heated up just enough to get it doing something for you in the car, and it was working pretty good. I knew once I got to 3rd, it was going to be hard to catch them because of draft. I didn't have any since I was leading the group behind, and they weren't really right on me, so they weren't pushing me forward. So I just had to wait until tires became a really big factor, and they did. You clearly saw that once we got that long green flag run, like 15 to go, it really started to be noticeable, and I worked really hard to get to the lead, knowing that as long as I took the lead, then they had to force the issue of pitting first. So once they pitted, I just waited it out, or I pitted the next time by, and that's probably the best pit entry I've had all season. I feel like everything's went wrong for me in pits between slow pit stops, and and whatnot. But everything worked right, and I got to the lead and just managed my pace for a while. And once I knew it was go time, I just tried to get away. But I tried to do some burnouts for you guys, but I alt tabbed to join Discord and my game crashed. I was like, well, I was just telling someone on the white flag, never say never. Like weird things can happen, but thankfully I waited till after the checker to do that. But either way, it was a good race overall. I'm glad we finally got some clean and green laps in once we got going there, and hopefully that continues.
Yeah, I was gonna say you picked up your third win on the season, the back-to-back win. How were the tires handling? Because heading into the night's race, we heard that there was going to be an issue with tires on the longer run. More importantly, with the right front blowing out after about 55 or 60 laps. So what was the tire wear like in the later stages of the run?
It was definitely tight. If you ran it right, you could get that car turning. I wouldn't say it's a loose feeling, but it's just the car's reacting at least. So if you never really got that to happen, it would probably just be really tight because we're wearing the right front, probably 20+% on our long run, 15 to 20% on the right front compared to the right rear. So you're automatically going to be tight, and you really start to notice that. I think when I was pushing there and I caught them in pass, I think my right front was down almost 50% or right close to it. So there was definitely wear. We saw it, especially in traffic. But yeah, I mean, everything worked out pretty good. And our car was pretty fast. I'm kind of surprised. It was really hard to do anything, but there was some give and take tonight. We haven't really had that too much this season, and thankfully we saw that. I saw that firsthand a couple of times when I'd catch someone and they'd let me go, and I'll return the favor to them for sure in the future if roles are reversed. So either way, it was a good race though.
So
Indeed, it was. Oh, go on, Harold.
I was gonna say, Jay, you've been around iRacing for a while. I mean, started with the 2003 the Papyrus Racing title, and so hearing that with the detonating tires, is it as bad as the 2003, or is it just basically almost like it goes low and then you go up to the wall?
I mean, you don't really have flat tires typically. You'd have to really char them, but you can definitely notice drops in lap times when you hit cliffs, these things called cliffs. So when you hit this certain number of either temp or wear, you'll notice pretty fast you'll fall off really hard. Like you'll just get really tight, or if you're loose, you'll get really loose. But I don't know about, like, you really have to push hard on the tires. Like I think you would have had to run like the bottom since it was less grip to really notice a tire failing. But I don't know. I haven't had a tire failure in a while anyways. But I don't think anyone would really have to deal with that too much tonight. I think there's enough tire on it that that it wouldn't have gone down anyways. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely rough trying to keep the tires on though. Like I wasn't that confident once we got going. I was confident in myself. I knew I could, but I just didn't know compared to the others if I was doing a good enough job with it. But thankfully it showed, and everything worked perfect for our Solar Flare Racing Toyota Camry, and the tires held on for us. So it worked out pretty good.
And aren't you guys glad that the random pit crew problems are not still around in iRacing? Could you imagine them throwing the tire not coming off the car like we saw today at Dover?
Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine, man. Could you imagine if they just didn't tell us and we just all of a sudden did a race and someone's tire just comes off exiting pits? It'd be chaos. It'd be one of those moments where you don't know whether to laugh or whether to be like, "Wow, that just happened." But it'd be interesting, that's for sure.
All right, Jake. Thanks for the interview. I'll let Mr. Hunter send you off.
I was just gonna say, any shots you want to give out before you wrap it up and pack home the dub?
Yeah, everyone at Solar Flare Racing. I hate it for Tyler Sifford getting wrecked there early, but Dwayne Culberson, Tyler Nichols with two great finishes. That should really help us in the team standings. At worst, it should help us maintain. I think I haven't looked through the standings since I crashed or sim crashed, but I would assume that did pretty good for us. We're already in the team standings lead, so as long as we just maintain and slowly pull away, that's perfect. That's our goal. We're just trying to stay consistent. But everyone at Area and Elite Entertainment for putting the series on and this league on, it's going to get enjoyable here. Yeah, you're going to have moments where it's hard to race like tonight where it's just one groove mainly. But overall, the racing's getting better. There's showing more respect on the track, which is what you want to see. You want to see that kind of give and take aspect out there, and people understanding that it's a long race. That's a long 140 laps tonight. So either way, thanks to you guys as well for broadcasting. You guys do an amazing job. Can't wait to go back and watch this one and enjoy the show.
All right, that was your race winner, Jake Nichols. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Then we'll bring up our second place driver. Seems like he's been second place a lot this year. The wins are going to come for Cameron Hearn in that number 67. It's Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, 1 second before we say anything, Cameron.
Oh.
You actually finished the race, man.
I know,
Congratulations.
I know. It's either podium or records. So tonight was a good night for the points because I think I was 20th in points, or around 20th. So just awesome. Qualified near the front. So.
If you watched the NASCAR race today, I thought I was looking at your car getting spun out by Ware.
Oh yeah, Denny. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, "What? That's Cameron."
Yeah, he had a bad day. He had a tire fall off too, and that kind of set things up for him.
Oh, we said that he would win the Sasquatch Award next time that Harold or Ken goes to the track. But speaking about tonight, you had a race-winning car, no doubt about it. But it just seemed like the more you and James battled, the more Jake would close in, and he snuck up on you guys and passed you in the second half of that race. What was it like battling against Jake?
Over the years, I'm used to coming second fiddle to him. So it's just one of those things where you pretty much know the guy in front of you is not really going to have a bobble and mess up. There's a couple times with James behind me, how to get loose or tie off the corner, how to check up and let James have a run on the inside and try to make a pass, right? Jake, it really didn't happen. And I knew he was saving his tires, 2 seconds back at the beginning. And he must have gotten a pit road really good because I thought I got in there good and he beat me and James out. But no, it was fun. The aero push definitely was a huge thing behind him. I knew he had long run speed, so I tried to get him coming out of the pits early. And I think that caused me to burn up the tires a little bit in long run, and I really fell off with about 5 laps left. But I think the fastest overall guy won tonight. I was hoping for a late race caution to put some new tires on and see what we could do. But coming home second, it's nothing to to be ashamed at.
Yeah, he did say that him getting on the pit road is probably the best that he's ever done. And it looked like we were going to get a caution throughout a few portions of that green flag run to the very end. Saw smoke all over the place as we were talking about pulled pork from Dover. And then we saw the 34 run in the grass trying to find the pulled pork. But no caution came out there at the very end. But it was a good run to the finish. Any shots you'd like to give out before you go?
Yeah, I want to thank Elite Entertainment, CNC Logging. Shout out to James. Me and him battled. We were stuck together all race. Made a little bit of contact on the last lap, and he just let me go. Wish he would have raced me forward. This last lap, little bumper banging, a door banging, really isn't nothing bad. But just to give a shout out to my mom and dad watching, my wife, you guys on broadcast, the admins in the booth, Jacob, got a great thing running the area, and just hats off. I know we had some cautions early, but it's really cool to have green flag pit stops, racing people hard, and a little bit of give and take. Lap down cars, for the most part, were really good tonight. So that was a huge improvement. Got to learn a little bit how to get through 3 and 4. I think that's where I was losing time and killing right front. So I'm going to go back and watch a little bit of replays and see what Jake was doing a little bit different than I was inside the car.
All righty, well, we'll let you go and do that. Congrats on the second place finish.
Yay.
That was Cameron Hearn. Now we'll bring up third place finisher James Skyrley in the number 7 butt kicker machine. Kicked almost everyone's butt. Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yep, I got you guys.
Man, it seems like you're starting to gain your rhythm now. You're starting to get some decent finishes going. You had a race-winning car. It was between you and Cameron for the majority of the race, and then Jake Nichols came in and slowly worked his way through, and then the second half of the race kind of picked it up and left you guys in the dust at the very end. But nonetheless, you still had a fast number 7. Take us through what your race was like, just battling with Cameron, because you two were stuck together, kind of like Ross Chastain and Martin Truex Jr. today, always battling, always near each other. What was that like?
Yeah, once we got that long green flag run, I was just kind of trying. Once I finally caught up to him, because it took me a couple laps to get to his back bumper, but then once I caught him, I was just trying to sit on his back bumper and hopefully push him down the straightaway so that we could drive as far away as we could. And we got, I think, about 2 seconds in front of Jake, and then Cameron started kind of getting loose in front of me, but I couldn't get underneath him and make a pass. It was just plowing tight on the bottom, so I just kind of still sat behind him and hoped that we would maybe flip the switch on the tires, or maybe Jake's would burn off and he would go backwards, but he just slowly was able to catch us and pass us. And then once we got to the pit stop, I was able to jump in front of Cameron, but Jake just barely stayed in front of me, and that's what kind of did me in there.
Yeah, Harold, any questions for James?
No, just looking good there tonight here at Kansas, and good to go. And it's funny, I'm actually kind of first time I actually saw this in iRacing. One thing we saw when we were at the track here today at Dover was guys putting Sharpies all over the track as well as we did, and you could actually see the graffiti on the white tracks up behind your car here, James. It's kind of interesting to see.
Oh, you know what? I do have one more question, because tire wear was a bit of a concern heading into tonight's race. Jake said that the right front would give out after about 60 laps or so. Jacob Bell, that is. And then Jake Nichols said that it got really tight in the later going of the run. What was the handling like for your car with the tire wear?
I was able to save him okay, I felt, on the long run, but something about this next-gen car, at every track we've gone to so far, the right front just wears way more than any other tire, and that's just something you don't see in the other cars. The truck and the Xfinity car, usually on these setups, they have pretty even wear, but this one, the right front just wears way more, so... But luckily today, you were kind of able to work the seam in both corners, and it was able to kick the back end out, and you were able to kind of wear the right rear a bit more and ultimately have more speed and more traction at the end of a run rather than just plowing tight. You were able to kind of work around it this week, but some of the other tracks you definitely haven't been able to.
Alrighty, then that's all the questions I got. I know Harold doesn't have any, but any shots you'd like to give out before you go?
Oh yeah, just shout out to David Weishart Racing, trying to score some points for them, so glad I could put it on the podium. And then big thanks to Butt Kicker for being on the car, and thanks to you guys for being in the booth. We finally were able to get a good one for you with some green flag racing and not just cautions the whole time, so hopefully that was a little bit entertaining for you guys.
Oh yeah, and the battle for the lead seems like the entire rest of the race between either you, Cameron, or Nichols, really entertaining, and congrats on the solid third place finish.
Thanks, guys.
That was our third place finisher, James Skyerly, and now we'll go ahead and give you your finishing results for the rest of the field. So it was Jake Nichols bringing home the dub once again, Cameron Hearn second, James Skyerly third, Shane Williamson and Ryan Hartz rounding out the top five. Those were the only drivers that finished on the lead lap because of how long of a green flag run we had to the very end. Then you got to go to Michael Arch, P6, James Shanewolf, P7, Matt Alverson finishing in 8th, Dom DeLeo 9th, and then Tyler Nichols rounding out the top 10.
In 11th, we had Dwayne Culberson, Matthew Robinson 12th, Garrett Heath in 13th, Ryan Swan 14th, Nick Johnston in the 15th spot, Ed Robertson, the Muffin Man, in the 16th, 2 laps down, Jake Bell, Brian Wasserman, Randy Betchel, and Brian Dixon all 2 laps down.
And then 3 laps down now, Mark Patterson, 21st. Paul Irvin, 22nd, although he did have the fastest lap of the race. Chris Einfine, 23rd. Jay Perkins, 24th. 25th, Forrest Smith. And then Garrett Grant, Adam Capps, Delonte Ballard, Daniel Miglin, and Connor Okrezik rounding out the top 30.
And finishing out here 30th to 31 to 39, Alan Ballacino, Drew Trader, Tyler Sifford, Eli Green, David Weishart, Will Davis, Jordan Martin, Rafe Slate, and Gary Lewis.
That was the finishing order for the 39 cars, and I believe we already did our Elwood Design race recap. So, Harold, any final thoughts before we pack it up for the night at Kansas?
Well, we're back to that green flag pit stop stuff that area was famous for in season 1. I'd like to see more of that throughout the rest of the season. I think the drivers are starting to get comfortable around one another and know what they can and cannot do. That's one thing. Familiarity, that's what I was talking with Jacob Bell before about. The the parity between all the drivers. Like, so we have Jake Nichols at the 7,000 I rating, I think, and Santo around like the 1,100 time. So there is a big experience gap between the drivers, but they're all starting to learn who's what and where, and they can get closer to one another and trust that the other guy can keep holding his line. Should be getting better racing throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just completed race number 6 of 17. So we're halfway through the regular season, which is pretty remarkable considering it feels like we just started yesterday. But, time flies when you're having fun. And the fun continues tomorrow night in the CNC Logging Truck Series from Kansas. And then Thursday night, the Lodge Box Series will also be taken Kansas, all at 8:40 Eastern on the Area iRacing Twitch channel. From everyone up here to executive producer Harold Darner, I'm Hunter Slappy saying so long, and we'll see you later.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.